They create local entrepreneurship. And then they also absorb people on the streets to alleviate poverty. Okay. In Ghana, SMEs represent 93% of registered businesses and are very important for economy. And that tells you that there's a lot of activity at our Registrar Generals. If 93% of the registrations are SMEs, that's very critical for us. And as you look at it in the global comparison, it's estimated that there are about approximately 600 businesses or entrepreneurs that are considered as SMEs or starting to run a business. And in fact, in today's world, there's a new acronym, the SGBs, Small Growing Businesses, because it's recognized that small growing businesses are much more dynamic than those that are already established. So why is it so difficult to migrate from an SME to a medium company and then to a big company? Now, these problems have beset business in the world all over. Some are able to do it quite well, some are not able to do it. In fact, global statistics says that out of every 100 new businesses that are set up, only 10 survive. And there's been enough academic studies to try and filter out what the conditions are that make a small business successful or not successful. So I have highlighted a few points which we ought to consider. And for most of you who are here, who are SMEs or MSMEs, I'm sure you either validate or have variations of these problems. So I need not emphasize them too much because you very well know them too well. One of them, of course, is macroeconomic conditions. Every business operates in a macroeconomic condition. And the conditions in which you are, there are pervading factors such as inflation, interest rates, transportation costs, earning power of the public to buy from you, and all these things pose huge problems for SMEs or MSMEs who find it difficult to understand the implications of these. For most SMEs, their remit is, okay, I have a product, I sell it, just give me cash. And that suffices. But it doesn't. Because even for you to produce, you need some funding. And if you don't have money already to fund your production, you have to borrow it from somewhere. If the economy is not strong enough and good enough and stable enough, or such that rates are low, then it becomes a high cost to you. Now, that may not affect you because you slap your profit on and sell it to the customer. But the customer, over a period of time, will just say that, well, your goods are too expensive, so I can't buy them. You know. Now, let me just break it down a little bit so that you understand the implications. When you have such a situation, you are, as a business, you find that the regulations are time-consuming, they are complex, and they are bureaucratic to you. Like I said, yours is, let me get the goods, let me slap on my profit and sell. Nothing else is as important. But then there are other factors that affect you and affect your ability to sustain your business. So, for example, even the ease of doing business in our environment is very important. And for you, the SME, you would need to understand what that means and how it affects your business. But very often, SMEs are simple people. They don't want to take the extra step to understand what inflation implies, what the cost of doing business is, what you need to find about your cost of production and all these things. They don't look at that. But those are the issues that you need to look at to be successful. That is why only 10% out of 100 companies succeed, because they pay attention to those things. Most SMEs have also mentioned the lack of finance as a critical element of their businesses. But I can tell you as an investment banker, it's important, but that's not the critical element with business. Because I can tell you today, if I take 10 people in this room and I give each one 1 million cedis each, trust me, by end of day, maybe one of them will have 8 million. One of them will have 10,000, another one will have 100,000. You'd realize that some are better some people are better at managing money than others. In fact, there is literature to say that at the SME level, women make much better business people than men because they know how to manage the money. So it's not, money is not the critical success factor. It's how to manage that is a critical factor. And whenever I hear companies say, well, lack of access to capital is hampering us, I keep telling them, be careful. It may not be lack of capital. It may be organization. You're probably not well organized enough. That's why the money doesn't come to you. Then, of course, there's also inadequate physical infrastructure. So, for example, cost of moving your goods from wherever you are. And I once did my own survey in the market where I found that there were people moving from the outskirts of Accra to get to Accra at early enough, and they would get to Accra at 4 a.m. to get ready to sell at 6 a.m. And I kept saying that, well, the problem is lack of physical infrastructure, because if they had more efficient transportation, then they would be able to get to Accra. But that's a cost to you. Because when you have to wake up at 2 a.m. to get to the marketplace at 4 a.m. and start your business at 6 a.m., by 8 a.m., your body will be telling you, relax, slow down, you're tired. And you can't get the best out of what you want. Then, of course, there's energy cost as well. Assuming you have a shop, the cost of energy is going to affect your business. And when in the days of doomsday, you can just well imagine the number of businesses that had to shut down because they didn't have power. But let me take 2 steps back, because I think we need to frame this in the proper context. When you talk of an SME, there are definitions of what an SME is. And the IFC World Bank definition says that a company that has total assets of $50 million and employs less than 200 people is an SME. In Ghana, that is a damn large company. So in our context, we are not relating to that definition. We are relating to the definition of the people who use maybe just 100,000 capital and try and turn it around. The people who may hire 1 person, 2 people, or maybe just 10. And that's why we, in our circumstance, we say that a lot of our companies are SMEs. So I was speaking about power supply, and that took me to the issue of context, because a large company may be able to buy a generator, but you, the small person, cannot buy a generator. So if you're a barber, you're a cook, or you make food, etc., and there's a power cut, then your business is put to a stop at that particular moment. So those are some of the things that hamper you. Then, of course, there's communication services as well. The ability to efficiently communicate. And let me throw in some controversy here, which I hope the press is not going to blow out of proportion. We've recently seen the cost of, there's a tax on Momo, for example, 1.75%. And I was speaking to a friend who says, oh, because of that, you use Momo again. So I asked him a question. So if you had to go and pick money from Tema, would you go and pick it up instead of use Momo? He says, yes, of course. I says, okay, let's calculate how much it will cost you to go to Tema to pick up your money. After we did a little bit of arithmetic, he just says, hey, no, may use Momo this. Because it's efficient, you may think it may be more costly, but in terms of the situation in which we are, it might end up, still the efficiencies will make up for that tax. Because we have our transportation system, it may be expensive and all that, and Momo is efficient. And if you have to pay a little bit more for efficiency, trust me, it makes your business worthy. So, but I do understand that for a lot of people, that percentage represents a certain quantum that they think is a lot. But try comparing that to not having it and having to do other things to make your business work. So you must always look at it in terms of relativity. And those are the issues internally that make your business, give you a bit of difficulty in your business and no difficulty. The fact that you have inefficient and lack of infrastructure and therefore higher communication cost and transportation cost. The fact that you have a situation where there is no real support For you, high utility rates or relatively high utility rates, so you think that you're paying too high for water, electricity. Those are the issues that, outside your own abilities, may affect your business. I remember that there used to be a program called the Ghana Private Sector Development Strategy 1 and 2, and they listed some of the major roadblocks to MSME growth in Ghana. For example, poor investment climate. So even if somebody wants to invest in you as an SME, he doesn't have a structure, a legal structure that enables him or her to be protected. If you go to your aunt and she lends you money and you don't pay, what do? You settle it at home. But in reality, you have to pay. And there must be a mechanism, a well laid out mechanism that should let you pay. So poor investment climate technically is one. Some also mentioned a weak and inadequate entrepreneurial culture. For a lot of people, they'll say, well, what does that mean? A weak entrepreneurial culture means that you don't have the system that facilitates entrepreneurial growth. So for example, how many of you, whilst you're in primary school, ever thought of being a business person? Were you taught any lessons in the classroom that got your mind thinking that, oh yeah, I can be a business person? We all go to school, and at primary school, go to secondary school, you want to be a lawyer, doctor, this and that. These days, a soccer player, a musician, an actress, because they are the ones who have numbers on social media, you know. But you are not taught how to be a business person. What does profit mean? What does cost of capital mean? In some countries, these things are introduced at a very young age. And so they build what they call an entrepreneurial culture. I was an investment banker, and basically what an investment banker does is to look at your unique problems, financial problems, and try and propose solutions. It was hard making money because people didn't see why they should pay for advice. They were more ready to pay if you can arrange a loan for them. Because when you give them, you arrange the loan, they get the cash in their hands. But when you give them advice, they say, oh, but this one, yeah, everybody can think of it. What they don't realize is usually the advice enables you to meander through and eliminate a lot of the things that you require. You know, but all these come out because we don't have an entrepreneurial culture, and we are now building it. Then, of course, there's also inadequate, they cited insufficient private sector support, where they see a complex legal and regulatory framework and a lack of deliberate SME support or support infrastructure. For example, how many of you can tell me directly how much tax they pay? What's the percentage? A lot of them don't know. You know, and you work with simple arithmetic. For the small and medium-sized business person, he defines profit of, okay, I have goods that cost me 10 cedis to acquire. I add 5 cedis on it. I sell it for 15 cedis. So my profit is 5 cedis. It's not true. It's not correct. That 5 cedis includes your cost of delivery, your own time, packaging, little things. You know, but for the simple mind, and when I speak to a lot of my SME business friends, so I bought it for 5 cedis. And I made it 5 cedis too. So when I sold it, I had 100% profit. I said, no, you didn't get 100% profit. You have to account for all the other things. So, but all these shows that there's no real support infrastructure for the for small business. AGI also, in the Afrobarometer report of 2018, first quarter 2018, listed some of the reasons why that the SMEs themselves indicated as being inimical to their growth. And they listed high cost of utility, contributing to higher cost of production, which may be true, but maybe not, because they price it in their goods. High cost of credit, which is possible and true, but credit alone doesn't make your business. Then constrained collateral agreements that also do not facilitate access to credit or delayed payments. So you go and borrow from somebody, and it says use your car as collateral. And then maybe there's a problem in the market, so you can't sell as much and you can't pay back. He immediately comes for your car. but that shouldn't be the way the arrangement should work. There must be legal definitions of what default is and all those things. But for the SME person, that doesn't really matter. Then there's also the low knowledge of quality and standards requirements. I mean, I see a lot of great products in the market, great products, but the packaging. I mean, I had a friend who came from Switzerland and came to one of our youth entrepreneurship forums and saw an artisanal chocolate maker. And this is somebody from Switzerland who tastes chocolate every day. And he tasted the chocolate. He says, this is amazing, this is wonderful. I want to see the product. But when you looked at the product, he says, oh, but this thing can be much better packaged. For the entrepreneur, that is way above them. All they need is just find some foil, wrap it, find some nice print, put it there. The market is defined by the product. Some would buy low quality stuff, some would buy high quality stuff. Your better chance of making money is if you can sell to the high quality consumer. So maybe these are some of the things that as people in the business sector, we should help SMEs with, Then of course, unfavorable government procurement processes. Most of SMEs feel that they are left out of the government procurement agenda. But I know that government has, maybe unwritten, that they would rather do procurement through Ghanaian SMEs because that's the way of enabling them elevate themselves in the business sector. And then, of course, some also cited complex export market access procedures. I would just ask a question, and in 5 seconds, I would like to see your responses. How many of you here understand and know how to export under the Africa Continental Free Trade Area? Wow, not a single hand. Not a single hand. That also shows that maybe we in the business sector have failed to bring awareness to you that that represents your best opportunity of entering a global market. And it's a market just simply waiting for you. And so maybe, Your Excellency, maybe the next session of this we should do a special session for AFCFTA and let the SMEs understand what that means as a market and how to negotiate, ability to get into those markets. At GIPC, we've tried in the past to do quite a number of things, and I'll just mention a few. For example, the Young Entrepreneurs Forum, where we bring young entrepreneurs to showcase what they have and help them, also understand the policy frameworks. We have a business continuity program where we helped a few of them with training in business continuity management, especially post-COVID. And then also, when we travel outside as a marketing entity, we actually sometimes take a few Ghanaian people in the SME so they are able to meet the bigger investors and strike their deals. I dare say that the government of the day has been very aggressive in attending to SME problems and supporting SMEs to grow. Some of the very significant programs was, for example, was the Ghana Enterprises Agency, which was formerly NBSSI, which was launched in June this year, which has incubation and support programs from SMEs. There's also the National MSME and Entrepreneurship Policy, which aims to enable SMEs go the next step from startup capital to early stage startup capital to growth capital. And then, of course, the GEA grant support for SMEs, which actually provides capital for SMEs and forms part of the Ghana Economic Transformation Project under the World Bank. And even under the height of the pandemic, government announced and implemented what they call the Coronavirus Alleviation Program Business Support, CAPBUS. And I'm sure quite a number of you here must have benefited under CAPBUS. And this was to enable you limit the losses that you incurred during the pandemic, and also to ensure that livelihoods were not entirely lost. This was administered by NBSSI, now GEA, and it was a 750 million stimulus package from Ghana to the, from government to the private sector. So it was quite a significant amount. I think under CAPBUS, some 302,000 successful applicants were given small loans to the tune of almost 500 million cedis. In the areas of capacity building, which for me is the most critical, according to the 2022 budget recently read, some 141,295 enterprises were provided with business development programs. Out of this, 116,189 women were provided with business development services. And as I did say before, this is even more significant than the cash you get, because this is what's going to enable you understand the complexities of the market, the complexities of the business environment, and enable you to succeed. 57,657 of these companies participated in the financial literacy program. And I'm told that the success of that has been significant in enabling them understand some of the nuances of the market. Additionally, 1,332 SMEs were provided with the Japanese Kaizen training to improve efficiency. So definitely, the government is very keen to develop the SME sector, clearly understands that that is the largest business sector in the country, and therefore, to improve the economy and grow the economy, we need to pay particular attention and support SMEs to grow, first at the startup stage, and then also to the growth stage. Some of the other programs which I would like to mention, the Rural Enterprise Project, which has supported 37 business resource centers across the country. Across the country, almost every district, and I'm sure the representative from trade will talk about that, across the country to give incubation and support to SMEs nationwide. Government also partnered with the MasterCard Foundation through GEA to advance to SMEs an additional 90 million as part of the then called NBSSI MasterCard Foundation COVID-19 Recovery and Resilience Program, popularly referred to as the Nkoswo Program for MSMEs, in line with government's priority to achieve economic transformation, COVID-19 notwithstanding. Then, of course, there's the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Plan, NEIP, which is a flagship policy initiative of government to provide integrated national support for startups and small businesses. And the focus really is in incubation, is to startup finance and providing business development services and funding for young business to enable them to grow and become successful. Through NEIP, 45,000 entrepreneurs have been trained. 9,350 of them have been funded, and some 92,000 additional jobs have been created. Then apart from NEIP, there's also the National Industrial Revitalization Plan, NIRP, which is a stimulus package for industry. And under it, you find the One District, One Factory policy, a business regulatory reform activity, the development of small and medium-sized enterprises, and improvement of public-private sector dialogue. And all these fall under what is now called the 10-point agenda to strengthen local business and encourage entrepreneurship from the ground up in Ghana. The 2022 budget also mentioned a very important, very important for me, and that's to close my speech, initiative, which is called the You Start Initiative. And this is a vehicle that will use 1 billion cedis to create 1 million jobs in 3 years under the Ghana Cares project. The You Start project will support small, young entrepreneurs. When I say small, I don't mean in size, but small business, young entrepreneurs, to gain access to capital, training, and all the previous programs I've said, technical skills, and elevate them to be able to run and construct their businesses, and whilst monitoring them and mentoring them to also launch and operate their own businesses. And I think that's very important. And as I said, when we were in primary school and secondary school, we didn't learn anything about entrepreneurship. But today we have this great opportunity, and I think that in the near future, it's going to be a major incubation ground for bringing about Ghanaian businesses that will start small but become great continental and global players. And I urge you, young people, to have a look at the You Start program and leverage on it to improve yourselves and create businesses. But I would like to end by thanking the French Embassy, Propaco, AFD, Agence Française Développement, and all the agencies that have come together to put together this program. I think it's a very important program, and it's going to give you a lot of motivation, but also inspiration that you can do it and you will do it. The concept of, Choose Africa begins from this room. There's a bigger market of 1.3 billion people in the AFCFTA, and we'd like to see you take advantage of that. And I believe that what you're going to go through today would give you the arms and the tools and the strength and the motivation to step up and spark up and get into the market and become the big companies and move out of the MSME sector and become a real recognized formal company. So thank you very much for listening, and my sincere appreciation to the agencies that have put this together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Yofi Grant, for a very hearty presentation. Very insightful points. Thank you so much. So we would, at this stage, again, welcome graciously the French Ambassador to Ghana, Your Excellency. To have attention. I would like to welcome you at this stage. Yes, ma'am. So, Her Excellency and Sophie Ave, can we please clap as she comes up?
Thank you very much. It was a long time since I was told off by the teacher. Sorry, I was not listening. I was talking to my neighbor. Oh gosh, I got stuck here. So, good morning, and thank you for being here. You may wonder, what are we doing here? I hope you know a bit. So what are you doing here? As you know, French president decided to give or invest 3.5 billion euros in Africa. Part of it is directed to Ghana. The way Probalco operates, like daddy gives 1 CD to mommy, that gives 2 CDs to Angie's niece, was of course efficient but not visible. We are using partners like banks, investment funds who know SMEs and who can be your counterparts. They can talk to you, they can receive your projects and study them and see how they can invest in them. But then you didn't know that daddy was actually giving a CD to mommy. So we organized that so you know better that there is a daddy behind mommy, if I carry on this. So we have come to realize that there are many, many tools and mechanisms that are here to support SMEs, but sometimes you do not know how to connect to them. You don't know if your project is fit to be presented to an investment fund to get some equity and fresh capital. You don't know if your project is fit to be presented to a bank and if a bank might be excited about it and would like to give you a loan. So this is what this day is about, connecting those who can actually support through fundings, loans or equity or other tools or technical assistance, and SMEs who do have these needs. You have the brains, the projects, the motivation to do something, but then you need the fuel, and that fuel sometimes, well, most of the time, is capital. It's also human resources, but it's also money, let's be fair. So I thought, in order to make sure that this involvement, commitment of the French president to invest in Africa actually goes all the way to the SMEs and is being used in a very efficient way in the best interest of companies, I said, why don't we organize a big day where we enable people to connect? We help these SMEs to understand that their project may be a very good project and they could actually present it in a manner that will be appealing, sexy to banks and investment funds. So today you will see, so in the first part of today, you will see how some SMEs are presenting themselves to banks or investment funds, do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do. You'll be able then to have Q&As. It's like the theoretical part. And then in the second part, you have registered, some of you, most of you, I hope, to meet with actual partners. And then you will pitch your projects to banks. You will pitch your projects to investment funds. And I wanted to call that a speed dating, because I don't know if you do speed datings. I never did one, but I saw on TV. You actually go from, well, if you're a woman, for instance, you go from one table to the other and you pitch yourself to young men. You have no insurance at the end of the speed dating that you're getting out of it with a husband. But you may have grasped a few phone numbers and a few engagement to meet again. Or maybe you won't grasp any phone numbers, but you will have learned about yourself, and you will know that next time you should pitch yourself a bit differently. And next speed dating, you will grasp some phone numbers. So that is what today is about. I hope you will have fun as well, because we always learn better when we get to laugh a bit and when we get to have fun. And then I hope it will be very useful for you. You may sometimes learn something that will be of use, and that will help you understand better how to grasp some funds from those who have them and who are also eager to invest in good projects. And for our partners, whom I thank for being here, I hope you will, among those young people, not all of them are young, but in Ghana everyone's young, so you will find some projects that you will really feel eager to invest in. That's what the whole thing is about. Thank you very much to Proparco, AFD subsidiary, and to BPI, which is another French institution who joined us as well. The idea is to show you the kind of instruments and supports that France can provide. If we invest in you, it is not because we are philanthropists. It is because we believe that you have amazing projects, that you have opportunities, that you will thrive, and eventually will have a return on investment. So don't think we're just doing it. It's not aid. It is not just philanthropy. It is solidarity, and it is investing in the future, because my conviction, our conviction, is that Africa, and more precisely, Ghana, is the future of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very, very much. We are the future of the world. Indeed, Ghana can go beyond aid, but we can never go beyond trade and investment. Thank you very much. Can we clap for again for such remarks? It's gotten exciting, and we've not really had chance to do some of these meetings for close to 2 years because of something called COVID. But now we're getting open to have such. So we seem to forget some of the things we used to do, like clapping and appreciate people, because Zoom meetings don't clap, but in physical settings. So we've all lost the art of clapping. Can we revive that by clapping for Her Excellency again? And when we do that, they begin to think of how to sponsor more of such events in future. It's important. We need more of these to happen. Right. So we're going to have some fun. We want to do a very interactive thing. We want to listen to something, not a speech, not a panel discussion. That would come. We want to watch a drama, not on TV, not live. It's live drama. Right. So we would be inviting Globe Productions. I am told they are backstage. I don't know where backstage means, but I'm told they are around. Once they finish, we would have a panel conversation, basically discussion on what they are going to enact. That would be held by, we have Yarrow Capital, Verod Capital, IMP, Oasis Capital, and Wangara Green Ventures. So these are funds who are going to talk about what it takes to engage them. So without taking any extra time, I want to hope that the backstage is opened and there is Globe Production. Can we welcome Globe Productions, the team that did Something Must Call a Man, one of the best in the industry. Okay, so the backstage is...
What should I carry?
Shall we welcome them, please? You can clap for them as they come. Clapping is still free. Thank you very much. And as they set up, a kind reminder that we want to observe our COVID protocols, so kindly keep your mask on. You have sanitizer spray on your desk. Kindly make use of that so we can kick COVID out of the world one day at a time. So there'll be two sets of drama. After this, there's another one that talks about engaging banks for loans. And then we would have some banks in the room to be interrogating the questions they have. As we go ahead, please, we are live as well, so you can follow this. It's on the GIPC Facebook page. Also on Joy FM, I could mention quickly the link here for your friends who are not in the room. You could share this link with them, myjoyonline.com/media/joy news-live. So you could follow the conversations on these platforms. And for the banks that will be discussing the second session, you have FNB Ghana, EcoBank, Advance Group, Fidelity Bank, Access Bank, and Societe Generale. Okay. When that session ends, then we could look forward to meeting with our B2B session. That would be in the next room. So if you got an invitation towards that. Oh, she's back. He's back. Okay. So, I almost made something. The Deputy Minister of Trade had to step out, but I'm told he actually had a delegation, somebody who would speak on his behalf. Sorry, I couldn't get your name. Kofi Addo. Okay. His name is Kofi Addo, speaking for the Deputy Minister of Trade Industry. Can we clap and receive him even as they set up? He was here, but he stepped out for an emergency, so Kofi Addo speaks for him, and I'll tell you where I know you from when you finish.
Your Excellency, the Ambassador, I'm sure, given the fact that so many things have been said, I'm going to make sure that I reduce the minister's speech and then give you some few points from what the minister would have said. One, on behalf of the Honorable Minister, we would like to thank you, the French ambassador to Ghana, and all your colleagues for the wonderful things you are doing with the Republic of Ghana to support and enhance the work of the SMEs. The role that the French embassy is playing for the past few years demonstrates that you really believe in the Ghana success story. And this also underscores the fact that if we begin to do things as we ought to do, we will be able to attract the needed support from all the developing partners. I'm also happy to say that the work that Propaco and AFD is doing is one of the key things that is going to drive and support our industrial transformation agenda. You'll recall, since 2017, we started the One District, One Factory initiative. One of the key things that the ambassador and then Yofi Grant talk about is having access, I always want to emphasize on this, long, patient, and competitive funding. Long, patient, competitive funding. Most of our SMEs, as you are aware, cannot be doing well if they are still borrowing around 20, 21, 22%. And then in the neighboring countries, you have others who are able to borrow around 10% or even a single digit. So the work that Propaco and AFD is doing is to support our SMEs to have access to some of this competitive funding. And then one critical thing that the MSMEs will also bear in mind, or they will agree with me, is most of the time we are confronted with the issue of collateral or security. So when you're able to have some of these partners involved, then they are able to de-risk the riskiness of your business. So these are some of the things that we are encouraged as a ministry to be part of. Two, we must also be aware of one thing. Whether we like it or not, we are now part of the global value chain. So the Japanese have a word, which is coined glocal. You cannot get it in any English dictionary. But the meaning is that your product should have the world view, a global view, but you are producing for the local market. So whatever you are doing, though it is for the local market, anybody from anywhere can pick it, or it can be part of its global value chain. If you begin to have this at the back of your mind, then the innovativeness that is needed to go into your product will be something that is one of the best. And it can compete anywhere in the world. If we are able to do this, then we'll be able to attract the needed investment into your operations. Let me say that I'm always happy about the role of the MSMEs in the country. Specifically, when the COVID hit, 2019, 2020, because I'm part of the ministry and I know what the MSMEs did for the country. Most of the PPEs that we use for the hospitals, for the schools, and for all the official workers and everything, they were all made in Ghana for Ghanaians. It is a good time to clap for yourself as an answer. And I'm also proud to say that all these MSMEs who were part in the production and manufacturing of DPPs, most of them were also captured under our One District, One Factory initiative. I can give you a typical example. A company in Ho that you know very well called Cartec. At the time and at the top of this COVID, we needed to get sanitizers. You know, it became a talk in town. Most of the international markets were blocked. You could not bring things from outside, and we needed to get the sanitizers to support our COVID response. We got ethanol from Cartec, and then most of the pharmaceutical companies and other things went into the manufacturing of the sanitizers. And that is how we have been able to keep ourselves as a country. So I'm saying this to buttress a point. If we are able to build strong and vibrant MSMEs, it is not only going to inure to the benefit of the private sector, but it's going to inure to the benefit of the whole country. On this note, I want to thank you very much, and we appreciate your work. And Your Excellency, Ambassador, on behalf of the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we salute you for all your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kofi-Adom. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Globe Productions. Thank you.
You know, it's all right to have your person, I mean, your lost rep. I hope you understand what I mean. Oh, come on, let's be reasonable and forget the means, the other means, you know. I think I know you. You and you. I know you don't sleep alone. Come on, chip, chip. Chop, chop. Like you'll not survive this raining season of ours. The blistering cold that gives you chill at night. Tell me the truth. It's always good to have, know the joy and happiness of someone you call your wife. But to me, this idea, it's not the case. Kokon, my wife. She never listened to my suggestion, to the growth of our business. And now, as a former loving, hardworking husband, as I was, now she's gone. And I don't know how to address this time of mine. Is it a time of separation or a time of divorce? Time has really changed, indeed. Time indeed has changed. For a man of my caliber to sit in this house alone without a wife. Oh no, let me take. Read something that is current. 5 million Ghana cedis for demolition exercise. What? 5 million Ghana cedis just to destroy. What is this? I have stopped talking about this. Because if you go somewhere and you talk about this, they will say politics. So now I am mute. I won't say anything. But I will just mention 5 million Ghana cedi for demolition exercise. Just that. Oh. Business equity financing. No. Business equity financing. Business equity financing. This could be a solution to the growth of my business. My long days of contemplation. This could be a fuel to ignite my vision and prospect in this bread production. Oh yes, I need to get to them. Oh, I should call them. No. I should be able to walk straight into the office, speak to the investor, and then tell him everything about my business. Yes. I should be able to freely express myself on this business of mine. Yes. Business equity financing. Oh. Ready to dive into the world of business. Yes. This will be the solution.
I'm not going to stay there. It's not me. Kevin really has a wonderful way of making your morning. You should see the smile he greets you with at the front gate. David, the dispenser at the front is empty. Please replace it.
Business equity financing, speak to them and,
Good morning, sir.
Oh, good morning.
You must be Men's 19.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Please have a seat.
Thank you very much. Oh, you have a nice place.
What can I get you? Tea or coffee?
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. I have a business of which I think is worth considering. That's why I'm here.
Oh,
Um,
excellent.
I actually read about you in the graphic this morning, and that led to my coming here.
Yes, I'll be glad to offer advice on your business ideas and assist in any way possible. I am sure we here at Lulubi Investments Group will be of good service to you, sir.
Indeed. And I hope this will be a point where your outfit is also coming in to help.
Definitely. So let me hear your business idea, and I'm sure we can continue from there.
You see, I have a bakery, and this I intend to expand the production. We produce, and the customers are always ready. But the problem is we are unable to meet demand. And that is the problem I am facing.
That's a brilliant idea, Mr. Mensah. But you need to provide me with more information about your business so that I can walk you through our credit facilities and possibly put everything into writing.
Madam, I am already obliged to all your procedures in as much as you are ready to help fund my project.
The important thing you need to understand here is our business models and engagements. We are a venture capital firm that provides equity capital for small-scale businesses.
I never heard of this until now.
Okay. Equity financing involves the sale of your company's stock. A portion of your company's ownership is given to us, the investors, in exchange for cash. The portion depends on how much the investor, the owner of the company, has invested in the company and what it is worth at the time of financing. This type of financing allows you to raise enough funds without taking out loans or incurring any debt.
I see.
Ultimately, the final arrangement is up to the investor and the company. For smaller and private companies, the process typically involves some sort of written agreement. But for larger and public companies, the process is more complex.
So, madam, after trading capitals for share, does it end there?
No. Equity capital is considered long-term. there's plenty of benefits from equity financing.
Please, I need to hear more. Can you tell me more about it?
For example, an investor may have access to a large network that could potentially help him grow, whether it's attracting more investors or mentoring opportunities.
Mentoring opportunities?
Yes. Once we have an agreement, we'll provide you with the expertise of the business to coach and advise you through the best practices of the business to maximize productivity. If anything should happen and the business fails, investors' money does not have to be returned. There's also no obligation to pay dividends on equity. But because of this, we do everything possible to make sure the business succeeds.
Madam, all these sounds very good to the ears. You know, the only question is, what are some of the disadvantages?
Mr. Mensah, the principal disadvantage is that investors become partial owners of the business. Naturally, they have a say in the business decisions of the company.
I see.
You see, Mr. Mensah, equity costs more than debt because investors risk more. Due to this, attracting investors can be harder than getting a loan.
I think this is very clear, and I understand perfectly the pros and the cons. Please, can we proceed?
Okay, we'll fill some fill forms, and then we'll send a team over to your workplace to observe, give some advice, and then later we can come back and have our agreement.
That is very excellent. Can I have the forms now?
Yes, Mr. Mensah. Before that, there are some few things you need to know. You need to have a business plan ready, have some form of revenue, and these are just some formalities we need before we can do that. Do you have all these things?
I have
prepared?
all these things.
Thank
They
you,
are
Mr.
ready.
Mensah. Okay, so please help me. Yes. Name of business.
Okay.
All right. The last
So,
one.
what for here?
Yes.
Okay, that is good.
This part is for the date you register the business and all these
This
things.
is save.
Oh, you left one part out. Excellent, Mr. Mensah.
Thank you very much. One thing, I didn't ask of your name.
My name is Coco.
Oh, Coco! Hey! My dear, you are a brilliant lady.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, you're welcome.
We'll process this information and then follow up.
Please do that. And I can't wait to see your workers and staff in my work
You'll
site.
hear from us, sir. Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Let me work you
Take
out.
care.
Okay. Be safe.
Be safe yourself.
Yes. Oh, yes, he just left. Of course, I nailed it as usual. You know me. Why not? I'll be with you shortly. Just give me 2 minutes.
Call my wife. No. So I can't grow this business without calling her. She has to. I need to. Hello, Coco, my wife.
I'm sorry, this is AC.
Oh, AC. I was just talking about you. How are you doing?
I'm fine. You asked me to call you, but I think this is not the right time. Are we still planning Coco's birthday? And have you gotten the staff for the birthday party?
Yes, it's very good you called at this time, But please, can I call you at the right time?
Okay, sure. I'm looking for it to rate.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Why do I dial the wrong line at this time? It is the case. Sometimes it happens. Hello, Coco, my wife.
Oh, baby.
My
I want
dear.
you to know I was wrong. And you're right, Mensa. I am your wife.
Oh.
And I don't want us to fight again.
Oh, my
Not
goodness.
because of our bread business. I just want you to know that I love you, baby.
I love you too, Coco.
Oh,
I love you too.
I love you more, baby.
My dear Coco.
My love.
Oh, my dear.
My baby.
Coco, guess what?
Tell me, baby, tell me. What is it, my lord?
I am in the process of securing fund
Oh,
for
wow.
our bread production.
Wow.
You did just say, wow, is
Yes,
that all?
baby, that's very interesting. I'm happy.
Indeed, you have to come because I have missed you.
Oh, I miss you more. I'm on my way, dear. I'm
please.
coming right away.
Hurry and come.
Baby.
Oh, my dear. Oh, Coco will be back. You know, you and I will agree that bread business didn't start now. And it is a serious business. You look at the time of Christ, the Last Supper, when Jesus gave bread to the disciples, and he said, eat it. Who no like bread? If this funding goes through, tip, tip, tap, tap, I will be a millionaire in this town. Oh my God. You know, and I would like to also inform you, anytime you are walking along the road or you find yourself in a supermarket or the mini shops around your various homes, please request for the delicious bread of life. Tip, tip, tap, tap, and it will get to you.
Sweetheart.
Oh, Coco.
Baby.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Look at you.
You've not changed.
Look at me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, look at me, baby.
Tip, tip, tap, tap. Oh, my God. Wait. Oh, goodness me. Hello? Yes? Yes.
This is Lolobi Investments.
Oh, yes, wonderful.
Please, we hope you're doing well.
I'm doing more than well, please.
Oh, thank you. We are sorry to inform you that your funding couldn't push through due to some irregularities.
What are they? What are they? What?
What is it?
Please.
We are very sorry, Mr. Mensah.
What are they? Please tell me. I presented everything you needed.
Yes,
hello?
please. Yes, you did, but
But
well,
what?
that is just how the investments group works. We are very sorry.
Hello? Hello? What? Why?
Baby, what is it? Hey, my heart.
It didn't go through.
What didn't go through? Talk to me.
The funding I was trying to secure for the production.
What happened?
What will we do now?
Baby, don't worry. I'm going to support you. In fact, I'm going to give you my 100% support.
You will?
I will, baby. I will.
Chip, chip.
I
Chop,
mean,
chop.
Uncle.
Go. By the way, if you want delivery too, please just dial our number and it will get to your doorsteps. Tip, tip. And it is there. Go. My dear, you know, it's going to be a big, huge business.
Can we do it better for Glow Productions? Tip, tip, tap, tap. So we...
My dear Lulubi.
Who's your dear?
Oh, you are here. Sorry. You did.
Am I on? Thank you very much. The baker with two cocos in his life. One wife, one money woman. We will be moving on, and I believe that the stage hands would kindly help us clear this so that we can have the next stage of the conversation, which would be discussing the prospects. Now we're going to look at the very serious side of the same coin. First was the lively side. Now the people of the suit and the kaftans are going to sit here and talk to us about raising funds from them. So as we get ready, I believe we took a few points from the production. I'm really talking about the requirements, the things they will be asking as you try to engage these VC and PE funds for investment. One of the things that really shocked all of us, we thought it was almost through until the end when he got the call that is not done. Severally, you think that this deal is so simple. And those are the kind of journeys that we go through as entrepreneurs as we seek to engage. Sometimes it's just one technical knockout. You know, one thing that looks too small. And we've seen instances where there are businesses who have almost everything right, almost everything going for them, until you ask them for their audited financial statements. And then you see the devil is in the details of some of these things. The things that we typically take for granted. Thank you very much. The things that we take for granted, the things that we ignore, sometimes are the main things that can kill us. Clearly, the business looks good in terms of bread. Everybody loves bread. It's a market-driven commodity, customer-driven commodity. And that is one thing that he got very right. And it's important as we build our businesses and try to engage investors. We have solutions and products that have relevance on our markets and therefore show potential for growth. If an investor puts funds in your business, there should be room for it to scale up and grow aggressively. If you cannot show any such, and it's typically what you call a mom and pop or lifestyle business, that doesn't attract these funds. So we would need a table, so yes, just the chairs. If you could go a bit this, yes, thank you. No table for now, yes. And then he could clearly articulate the fact that he's been producing and there is customer demand, and he's able to meet new demand once there is new funds into the business. That's something we need to keep in mind, the growth potential of this business, talking about customers that you have already, paying customers, not just pilot customers as most of us would do once you start engaging investors for funds. So this is basically some of the few things I wrote down. And I believe you have your point and you have your questions, so you can note down any questions you have, because this session is basically for you in the room to ask your questions you have for investing, particularly equity investing. So I would quickly, once the stage is set, welcome the panel that would help us to really interrogate the issues. I'll first welcome Mr. Benjamin Ajiman. He's a CIO and managing partner of Yarrow Capital. Yes, please. You can take the first one from there. Yeah. And then I would also welcome Trish Amwine team, the VP of Investment for Verod Capital. Trish. Next, we have Francis Owusu. Francis is the Senior Investment Officer at IMP. All the way from the back. Can we clap for him even as he comes? Give him more speed in his wings. Then there is Joseph Boachi Adom, CEO for Oasis Capital Ghana. Joseph. And finally, we have from Wangara Green Ventures Capital, Isaac. Yes. Do we have a mic each? Okay, so I have already mentioned your name and where you're coming from, but in a minute, just tell us what you do as a fund, whether PEV. Just talk a lot about what you do. So we can start from Benjamin. Yes, you might. Okay,
I'm technically, oops, sorry.
great.
Technically challenged, sorry. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Benjamin. Yes.
Thank you for inviting us to be. Hello? Right.
Yes, we
okay.
can hear you,
So
Benjamin.
the name is Benjamin Ajiman. I'm the CIO, managing partner of a VCP firm called Yarrow Capital. We're a funding formation. We are one of the mothers who are talking to the father. We're asking more than to bring to the table. So we have a number of Estelles which we're talking to. So that's us in Ghana. We focus on what we call transforming SME companies out of where they are in that space into what we call the middle space, which later on I can explain a little bit more what that means. But in effect, what we're trying to do is build an entrepreneurial ecosystem within sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you.
Hello? Much better. Perfect. So my name is Trish Amwa Intim. As Nelson said, I am the vice president of a private equity firm called Verad Capital. I run the Ghana office. We have offices in Nigeria as well, and Mauritius. Just to give a very brief background of what we do, we have about $300 million in assets under management. And our aim is very much to look for and to support exciting, young, ambitious companies that are trying to expand to be not just sort of big fish in very small ponds, but are really trying to be regional players, are trying to be international players. And the reason that we can do this is because we have the support of a number of very, very generous, but also very skilled, very well-connected limited partners, such as Proparco, who bring not only money, but also their networks and their technical expertise and their access to markets and so on and so forth, that we are then able to help bring to these target companies that I'm speaking about and really help them get to the next level. So I'm very happy to speak to all of you about this. Really excited to hear the questions you have. And I'll hand over now to the next speaker.
Francis? Thank you, Trish.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Francis Osu, and I'm a senior investment officer with a private equity firm called Investisseurs et Partenaires. As the name implies, it stands for Investors and Partners, which has a French founding background. And like similar to my other colleagues, we focus on SMEs in sub-Saharan Africa. And to give a bit of context on how much we can normally support with, it's anywhere from about 500,000 euros to about 3 million euros or 4 million euros. But we're actually setting up a program in Ghana now which can do smaller amounts, starting from about 50,000 euros. So for us, we exist primarily to support entrepreneurs like yourselves, not just financially, but also with, technical assistance and, strategic support and whatever way we can support so that all your businesses can grow, continue to employ people, and continue to create a lot of impact in society. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joseph?
Great. Good morning again. My name is Joseph Boachiyado. Oasis Capital, I'm a partner and chief operating officer. So Oasis Capital, just like my friends have said, we are a growth and venture capital financing company. We invest in SMEs in Ghana and in Cote d'Ivoire. We have an office in Cote d'Ivoire. We currently have about, overall, we have invested in about 20 companies. And we invest in 5 sectors: financial services, health services, food services, private education, and hospitality. Our ticket sizes range between $500,000 and about $7 million. That's what we do. We'll continue when the questions come. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Joseph. Isaac?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isaac Asmani. I'm an investment manager at Wangar Green Ventures. Wangar is an impact investing firm, so a PLVC firm that invests in small and growing Ghanaian businesses that have shown some revenue traction over the years and are looking to scale to the next level. We typically invest between 50,000 to 500,000 USD in a first round of funding, and then there's the opportunity to follow on with additional investment of up to 2 million USD. And we target category A sectors like water treatment, waste management, renewable energy, and then sustainable agriculture. And then for category B companies, we will look at companies that are not yet green, but are looking to inculcate that kind of sustainability element into their operations. And I hope to hear from you and answer more of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all of you. So it seems to me we have a lot of money on this table. Somebody mentioned $300 million. And Trish, I would first ask you, I mean, you have a fund operating in Ghana. And forgive me, I'm coming first to you, but they say ladies first. And you seem to have the biggest of funding pots. How does anyone get a part of this $300 million for their business to grow?
Thank you for the question. So, I mean, if you're looking back to the play that we just spoke about, I mean, that's a very, very simplified version. But at a very high level, what we would typically do is have conversations, initial conversations with either business owners or potentially sponsors, right, who are interested in accessing funding from our fund. We would discuss, you know, major information about their company, find out a little bit about them, not just the space that they're in, not just the business that they're doing, but then also about them themselves as the business owner, what their plans are, what the vision is for the company. And if there's, at that point, a general interest on both sides, because it is very much a two-way street, if there is general interest on both sides to continue the conversation, we move to a next phase of signing an NDA, so your information is always very protected, but then getting a little bit more into the technical aspects, understanding financials, understanding business plans, so on and so forth. We'll go ahead to evaluate these, come back to you with a term sheet, and again, these are sort of a number of different iterations, but effectively an agreement saying, based on what we know and understand of your company, if we were to invest, these are the terms under which we would invest. Is this agreeable to you? What's your feedback? We'll take that on. Again, if at this point we believe that there is still a meeting of minds, you're still interested in us, we're still interested in you, we might then bring in third parties to do due diligence, and that might again be a much closer look at things like your financials, things like your tax position, so on and so forth, because, and a lot of feedback that I get sometimes actually is, you know, why is it so intensive? Why does it take so much time? And it's because it's really a long-term relationship. We don't just give you money and sort of turn away. It's very much a case of smart money, trying to understand you, trying to understand the point of your need, where you're trying to get to, and making sure that we are the best partner for you. Now, there's actually no harm in having a conversation and discovering that perhaps I'm not the best partner for you. Perhaps I don't have either the resources or the skill set or the capital or whatever that might be to take your business to where it needs to go. And both people need to be okay to that, to realize that. And I'm very happy then perhaps referring you to anyone else because that's a better match. But part of the whole sort of series of engagements and conversations is really to uncover that and understand what your needs are, how we may be able to help you. And then also for you to discover if I'm the kind of partner that you even want, even well beyond the money that I might bring to the table. Can I actually add real value, be it in corporate governance, in access to markets, in sort of setting in place the right systems, procedures, and those sorts of things, even help with human capital, bringing people in. do I have the sorts of resources that you need to take your business to the next level? We go through this, and if we decide that actually, yes, indeed, it is something that I can help you with, you're happy with me and what I have to offer, and likewise, we're also really excited about you, the type of business you're running, and where we think it can go, then we go on to final documentation and that we're able to close. In terms of timeline, and I realize that this all sounds very long, but typically that could be anywhere from about 3 months if it's a fast-track process, to more realistically perhaps about 6 months, because we're not trying to run this, to rush this. Our investment is usually for anywhere from 5 to 7 years, so we really need to make sure that we're starting it out from a good place and we have a good enough understanding of each other and where we're coming from and where we're trying to go.
Thank you very much, Trish. I would come back to the question of due diligence, and I'll put that to Ben. But before that, I want to know if you are here and you have any question, there's a good time to just come to these mics mounted in the middle of the room. You can walk up to it and ask your question as the conversation goes on now. Okay, so Her Excellency has a question or a comment. Come with your mic.
Thank you. I guess you meet a lot of people who come to see you with projects. And of course, we would like to know what are the assets, and you just explained very clearly. But what would be the drawbacks? What is to you a no-no in terms of presentation? Is it when people arrive with their hands in a pocket and have just their project and no papers? But what is just what advice could you give of don't do, not what to do, but what not to do that will just rule them out in every situation?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So in simple terms, the question I had is, what makes you say yes? What makes you say no? And I think that's a question we'll throw to most of you to answer so we could really know from various perspectives. But as the answers go on, if you have any question, kindly walk up to the microphones and they can ask subsequently. Thank you very much. So who would start with this question? What makes you say yes? What makes you say no? This is your microphone. I'll start with you.
Okay. So there are quite a number of factors. There's no particular answer to your question, but I'll probably just mention one of the factors, and then hopefully my colleagues can add some more. So what will make me say yes to an investment will be, then again, there's quite a number of factors, but the fund fit. For instance, for Wangara, we are an impact investing firm. So a project that will be a yes for me will be, for instance, a project that's reducing your carbon footprint, a project that's providing jobs, a project that's ensuring that there's gender equality in your firm, because these are things that our LPs are interested in. And so when you approach me with something like that, we are likely to start a conversation and then hopefully end up investing. And then a no would be, oftentimes you meet promoters and you just notice that they don't have their things together. But my advice then will be, when as an entrepreneur, as soon as you start, one of the key things will be to start keeping your books. Bookkeeping is very important. Even if you don't have the money to audit your books, at least you should have management accounts in place. If you can, not if you can, you should start paying your taxes, because these are minor things, but for some investors it's very important that you have some of these things in place. So I think I'll...
Thank you. Yes, you can.
All right. So for us, the SME definition for us is important. So before we engage you, we need to tick certain boxes to ensure that you are an SME. So your asset size, your revenue, and all of those things. And you must also fit our sector, the sector that we invest in. So once we can clear you on those levels, then the main thing is the business case. If the business case is satisfying to us, there is growth potential. You can expand either geographically or product-wise, and we can scale, because as we have said, we are there to stay for just about 5 to 7 years, and we are supposed to help you grow to a point where we can exit and make you a bigger player than we came in. So that's important to us. But also, where we find an entrepreneur consistently not showing that he respects agreements, that becomes a red flag. So during the due diligence processes, the things that you are talking about, he comes back, he changes it. There is movement all the time. It's a worrying sign for us, because we are going to be in this relationship for 5, 6, 7 years. We are your partners. We should be sharing information. And if that becomes a big issue for us, we are most likely to apply the brakes, even if the business case is a good one. Thank you.
Francis?
Okay, I'll try not to repeat what some of my colleagues have said, but I mean, for us as at IMP, we are also impact investment firm. So, like what my colleague said, about the environment and social impact, etc. But let me give an example of when we outright say no. So, one key one that we see is the valuation of your business, right? So it's very easy to think, wow, where was IMP when I had to sell my car, I had to sleep on the street, I had to sacrifice all this to build this business. But there's also a methodology that investors use to try and value your business, right? I know there's sweat equity and all that, but at the end of the day, if your business, for instance, your profit is 10,000 Ghana cedis, and you are telling me your business is worth 5 million Ghana cedis, I think some boxing gloves may come out. It's going to be quite tough. So I think trying to get some external advice prior to talking to an investor, I think is also a great thing to do. Like Mr. Yofi Grant had mentioned about investment banks. I mean, about 2 of the investments in our portfolio right now, it came through investment banks who can really help you and guide you in putting all your stuff together. And yeah, I would say in terms of the yes, I think growth potential is quite key. I learned something from my colleagues at InnoHub about what we call lifestyle businesses, right? So you can have a coffee shop, it's in, cantonments or airports, you make $300,000 a year, you can fly to the US, wherever, once a year, you can pay all your kids' fees, you're fine. You're not really thinking about expanding the network of your coffee shop. So I think that ambitious nature in the entrepreneur is also quite key for us. Thank you.
Thank you. You mentioned valuation. So typically, who does valuation? Is it you, the fund, or the entrepreneur or independent
okay, so
party?
So typically, we would make an offer to the entrepreneur. If the entrepreneur is coming through an advisor, most likely the advisor, who obviously has fees in mind, would have come up with a valuation. So most of the time, it's a negotiation kind of thing. It's never, okay, you're valued at 2 million, here's the check, let's move. There's always a bit of back and forth, because yes, you can tell me I'm valued at $5 million because tomorrow I'll be in Kenya, I'll be in South Africa, I'll be in Malawi and all that. But we are living in today, and there's a lot of uncertainty in tomorrow. So we at IMP tend to look more at what's your track record. How have your sales been growing, monthly or annually? Your profits, are you managing your costs very well? Because if your profits are going down year by year, we're going to have a bit of an issue with, giving you that kind of high valuation expectation you have.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Ben will be speaking in detail about due diligence as one of the major things that we all struggle with. And as he does, if there are any questions, you can kindly come up to the mic. So just after Ben, you can ask a question, yes. So Ben, DD, what's this whole thing? Trish, can you? Okay. There's something about Ben and Mike.
Yes.
It just doesn't work. Let's try a third.
Hello.
One. Okay.
The one thing is the beauty coming last after when questions are asked is that you really have to tax your mind to think of the answer, because all the slots have been taken. So Your Excellency, I just wanted to add 2 things to yours. The 2 things which we look at, which we call a personality fit and a transformation. So when we get into this business, we understand that we're courting for a while, and for lack of a better word, we're getting into bed, and it's going to be for a very long time. And as such, we need to understand the dynamics as how we negotiate, we play. So there's a personality fit in terms of the way we do business. Sometimes the business is sexy, everything works, but we are not in tune with the ethics of the business or the personalities that run the business. If we look at the way you treat your staff, if we look at the way you've aligned your staff, or the staff are not remunerated in alignment with the business, that doesn't fit well with us. That's one. Two, we call transformation. I say transformation because we take a business from, as you said, as an SME business, so we move it into the mid-sized business. And we've done this before, so we're trying to do it in sub-Saharan Africa. There's a transformation plan which we have to adhere to because we're working together. As one of my colleagues says, it's smart capital. So the capital just doesn't come as cash on the table. It comes with cash, some intellectual capabilities, some technical assistance, and coaching and knowledge of us and a plethora of other people that come with us. And as such, when we develop this transformation plan, it's a long-term journey which we're working together on. So we have to agree as to how we get to that end point. There will be issues along the way, but that tests the relationship. So those are the two things that we look at that make us do a no if we don't agree to those. So
thank you.
Coming to due diligence.
Yes.
Okay. Another analogy. It's just like they say never judge a book by its cover. In some instances, you have to judge it by a cover initially. So when it comes to you, it can be like just a nice orange, all looking very nice and ripe. The due diligence allows you to look into the orange to see and peel it off and understand the mechanics behind it. So there are a number of processes through due diligence. There's tax due diligence, there's financial due diligence, there's personal due diligence, you look at all the touch points that makes this business a whole because it's a living being. And there are cursory due diligence which initially will make you say, okay, this is a sexy business, we like the industry that it's in, we like what they're doing, we have an initial good rapport with the management. And once it comes through our investment process and we get to another stage, that's where we now nitpick or go into the detail. And that's where sometimes we have our own consultants, we employ other experts within those certain fields to come up with a plan or an understanding of how well or what you're doing and what you're not doing. So it helps us understand the risk around your business. And as such, because we are what we call a risk-adjusted returns, there's a certain risk that we can take. If you're above that risk and we feel that's something we can't adjust to and work for, we won't be able to do it. And as such, we may also recommend you to somebody else. So every entity around here has a certain level of risk with a certain level of returns that are adjusted to it and an impact that goes with that. So that's what we do. So the due diligence is really peeling the orange juice, understanding the orange, understanding everything that makes it put together so that you can make an informed decision on whether to move together. But one other point I'd like to make is, on the other side, they are doing due diligence on us.
Yep.
Right. So they want to understand, do I want to work with this Mr. BA or whoever? Am I comfortable working with this PE firm? Do they understand my ideology, my philosophy, my product, how it sits in the ecosystem or the supply chain, and where we're going to, because it's a journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Great answer. So like Her Excellency said, once we go into the speed dating, you have a checklist. You want to make sure you are taken, whilst they're also taking yours, and that there could be a match. If not, we just exchange phone numbers, and we'll move on from there. I would like to take a question from 1 to, can I do 3 questions in a row, 3 ducks in a row before we move on? Right. So there's 1, 2, and I'll take the lady here. So 1, 2, 3, and I'll come back on the next round, please. Thank you. Right. Help with the mic.
Yeah, hi. My name is Godwin Ejapon. I'm the CEO of a company called Locker. So my question, first of all, will be, do any of you invest in tech? I'm asking this question based on my experience here in Ghana. So after the answer, I want to have a follow-up question.
If you can ask the question and follow up now, so
Sure.
we could,
Okay, then let me do it. So the first one is, do you invest in tech? The second is, do any of you invest in pre-seeding and seed? And with what we want to achieve, don't you think if VCs are investing in pre-seed and seed companies, probably will have more companies grow in Ghana and scale quickly than just waiting for a company to be 3 years old where you can see their revenues before you invest?
Thank you very much. Point well made. Number 2 and then 3 here. Is there another microphone that could be stationed here for this lady here so you don't have to come?
Okay, please, I'm Samuel Kwame Nkrumah. My company is Samuel Nkrumah Ventures, and I'm with Ghana National Chamber of Commerce. In fact, I wanted to direct my question to Mr. Yofi Grant, but since you are here, I want to know whether you as investors are going to deal directly with the business people. Because borrowing from our former president, Jerry John Rawlings, he says there's painful truth out there. Because the grants or funding will come and will pass through the government. We, the business people, the transparency is not there. Mr. Yofi Grant mentioned the GEA, that the grant that was coming from the World Bank. I applied. Most of our people applied. They gave a deadline. Immediately after the deadline, the website went off.
Kwame Nkrumah, can I just come in a bit?
Yeah, I'm coming. I'll end here.
Okay. Yeah, because the person you're addressing to is not on stage, and the particular issues you are discussing here. And interestingly, they all do with you directly.
So I wanted to know whether they should be directly
they do with you directly. Come to them.
Instead of passing through the government. I was talking about the government because immediately after the deadline, the website vanished. But about a few days, we heard that about $8 million have been
Kwame, I think the main point is well made. The question is, do they deal with you directly? The answer is yes. All of them here deals with you directly, so I think I've answered the question. So question 2 is gone. Can we take that and then another question 2? So this is the new question 2.
Okay. My name is Vivian. Yes, Vivian. And I'm with Atadal Delivery Service. My question is, since we are dealing with equity, and it was mentioned earlier that the value of the company would be estimated before an equity or amount is decided on with the investors. Is there a minimum amount of which, if the company value is below that, you wouldn't want to deal with the SME? So maybe the minimum amount of which below you wouldn't want to deal with. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other before I move on to, yes. So we can just kindly, good. And then can you kindly take the mic to the back so that the next round will just start from the back? Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sami Lane.
Sami?
Sami Lane.
Sami Lane.
I work for a company, Oak Palm Limited. 2 quick points. I have come to realize that most of the investors don't understand the businesses that we're in. They will come to you and pretend sometimes as if they want to help. But in all sincerity, they have possibly a target from Propaco, which says you need to see about 500 clients in a year. So they just come and then tick the box and they're off. You try to explain anything to them and they won't take it. So one of the things that I want to know is, some of us don't have any collateral. The assets that we have is in the goods that we sell, the goods that we make. A lot of these investors would not take that. how can we access any funds?
Thank you very much. So I come back to you. So 3 questions for 5 able investors. 1 is, do you invest in tech, pre-seed, and seed? 2, what is the minimum valuation below which you would not go? That's if you have any such low benchmarks or thresholds. And 3 is, are we just ticking the boxes, or we understand the businesses we want to support? Okay. If we could just finish these and then we'll, yes. Who wants to? Yeah, it's free show.
Okay, I'm happy to go first. So do we?
You can take any of them.
Sure. No, I'll do a quick one on all of them. So,
okay.
Do we invest in tech? We love tech. In fact, to be completely honest, I'm not sure you'll find an investor anywhere now who says we're not interested in tech. And actually at Vered, we like tech so much that we are actually in the process of raising a tech fund and have made a first tech investment where, we are, to your point, exactly doing pre-seed because we do very much see the need for being able to find and support these tech businesses very early on so that they're able to grow and really help to catalyze so many different aspects of the economy. So short answer, yes, absolutely, we love tech, and yes, we believe in pre-seed funding with our tech fund. To the lady's question around, is there a minimum target size that we tend to invest in? So we don't think of it that way. So on our main PE fund, so we have 2 funds, the tech fund and then the PE fund. On the PE fund, our minimum investment size ticket is $10 million, right? We don't want to own your business. Our aim is not to come in and to take over the business. And so your business needs to be able to absorb $10 million and still have that be in the minority. So it comes back to the question of valuation and what you're creating and how big the business is. So while we don't have a prescriptive sort of, if you're X amount in sort of either EBITDA or revenue or whatever else, we won't talk to you. Just think of it in terms of, if I'm trying to invest a minimum of $10 million, how big does your business need to be able to absorb that very comfortably and to still have you in the driver's seat? Because we are not operators, right? I can't come in and tell you how to suddenly run your business. That's not my strength. That's not what I do. Which actually maybe segues nicely into your question around investors not understanding the main business that you're in. Actually, to the question of what would turn us away if someone came, I had been thinking about the answer, and my answer would be speaking with a business owner who doesn't fully understand their business and where it's going. Because we are here to support the business. We're not here to own it. We're not here to run it. We're not here to tell you how to do it and how to find opportunities and what your strategy should be to win. If we could do that, then we would start the business and it would be our business. We know we don't know it. That's why we're finding you people who know that so that we can support you and sort of help you up around the fringes. Equity firms don't take collateral. So, you won't come to us for us to say, show us your house or show us your car or show us whatever else. We also won't take your goods because we don't need to hold anything. We are part owners alongside with you. If it does really well, we do really well. If it fails, we also fail. So there's a lot of work that goes into understanding what the business is, and you definitely need to be the leader on that, helping to educate us on what the business is, what the opportunities are. And we'll ask you so many questions because we don't know your business as intimately as you do. But where there is a meeting of mind and where we think that we can add value, because that's the biggest thing. We don't have targets. Proparco won't say to us, show us X number. They don't check that stuff. But I will tell you that you put us all together this year, we have probably, among all of our firms, seen north of 1,000 companies. That's not an exaggeration. You put us together, we have seen more than 1,000 companies, easy. And that's not because we want to check. It's not fun for us to tell people, no, sorry, we can't invest. We don't derive any sort of joy or value or benefit from turning people down. We want to put capital to work. We want to invest in businesses. But it's just finding that fit. And so we go through a lot of businesses trying to find that right fit so we can be helpful to you and you can find us to be good partners and recommend us to other people, because that's how our businesses also grow.
Thank you very much. I think Trish has taken 3 for the team, but Ben wants to quickly add on.
And I'm going to do it in reverse. So I'm going to start with the collateral business, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Just to support what Chris said is that, yes, we don't take the collateral. We work with you on an equity basis, and that we need to understand how we work with this business together. The thing is that you see a number of businesses, and yes, there is a notion out there that there's a box ticking exercise, and that, you know, you're just here, we tick a box. And if you look at the dynamics of investing, there's a time element to it, and we are giving capital to return within a certain time. Now, we're allowed to just extend that time. So the exercise of speed dating to a certain degree is there. We need to see as many companies as possible to be able to find the sexy ones quickly and then go into the due diligence, as you said. So yes, there is that notion, but when you start finding a partner you can connect with, it becomes a different thing altogether. That's one. And I'll come to the tech question. Tech, yes, I think tech is one of the hottest sectors in the market for a while now. I used to do a lot more tech than I do now. But within tech, there's clean tech, there's ag tech, there's DeFi, there's fintech, which used to be financial software, but now it's called fintech. There are a number of techs. And what you're finding is because the sector is so broad, you're getting certain entities that are just focusing on a particular pace of tech. So you're getting fintech funds which are focusing on Nigeria per se, because the market's huge, and fintech, Nigeria seems to be a hotbed for fintech, and you probably see a lot of examples in the market that have come recently. And just to move on to the lady's question, every fund that you speak to has his criteria of entry. So the valuation, they may say, I won't talk to a business that doesn't make more than maybe $500,000 a year. So that's part of the entry criteria. So when we talk about this box ticking exercise, that preliminary, that could be one of the criteria which they have. Because when you look at the life cycle of a business, right, it's all from getting money from your friends and family, getting some angels, so to speak, to a little bit of seed capital, to Series A, B, C, D. So you need to find out where you fit in that sphere, because then when you're targeting the fund or the investor, you're going to the right investor. There's no point going to investor that's minimum is $10 million, and you're running a business that $10 million would assume all the capital, and they don't want to take a majority of your shares, because they can't run the business, right? That's the way the partnership is. I think that's it.
I think there are many comments that could come up, but in the interest of time, I would give you the chance for the next set of questions, if you don't mind, and then you wanted to ask a question? And then I would go to the back. I think there are so many hands from the back. Today I'm going to be swallowed in questions.
Yes. Actually, it was not really a question. It's just to answer to the gentleman, because you mentioned that Proparco sometimes might ask the fund investor to see a number of SMEs. I think he answered it anyway. He was explaining that they have a limited period for investment, so they have to see as much SMEs as possible. So to see if one of them match the criteria. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatoumata. So, yes.
Thank you very much.
There's a lady in black at the back. Oh, okay, sorry. Gentleman in yellow first, then lady in black.
Okay, so my name is Gideon Sosu Jr. I'm the sole founder of GADV. We are on the mission to...
Is it GAVI?
GADV, yeah. So we are on the mission to provide 30,000 homes with security installation, CCTV, and then access control. However, our challenge is to have access to the market, and then also we don't have an enabling environment to maybe employ people. So I'd like to know if I should walk to any of your offices, would you be able to guide us or help us with a solution for that? Thank you very much.
So access to market may not be addressed by the funds. There are intermediaries who do that. You may have to knock on the right doors so you don't go and they'll turn you away and it becomes another statistic. So that question is answered, right? Thank you. Lady in black at the back.
Hi, my name is Vidette Ajololo. I run a company called Sorta Chalet, which is a curated experiences company. My question is particularly to Francis, but I open the floor for all the other speakers to answer. Francis, you look surprised. And I guess the question is really about raising funds if you're a business that isn't generating revenue. I'm very cognizant of the fact that there are some businesses that exist that are not revenue generating but are able to raise money in the millions. How do you work with businesses like this? And if any of you have done that, what are the steps that businesses like who are not revenue generating can take to raise money to boost their business? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very tough question.
Yep.
I don't envy you, Francis. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Hilary from Hila Farms. And it looks as if somebody asked a question at the front there about startups, but the question has been dodged, so I just want to re-echo that. No funding opportunity for startups. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Hilary. No dodging, please.
Yeah, hello.
Okay, please. Is there somebody with a mic? Okay.
Yeah.
So, if you can allow him to land.
I have the mic.
You have the mic.
Yes, please.
But you don't have the floor yet.
Okay.
So it would come to you and then you have the floor from there.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Lord Anthony Bassing. I am the founder of a company called Incas Diagnostics. So Incas Diagnostics, we manufacture diagnostics, so test kits, the pregnancy test and all of those tests. I have 1.5 questions. The first is basically about pre-seed, whether you fund pre-seed companies, the food sector, other sectors, whether you fund pre-seed. The second one is more specific to the kind of company that I run. So it's a very capital-intensive business, in that even the equipment alone are in their millions. So if you've invested all of these, say you have currently equipment and all of those that you've spent over $3 million to procure, and then the funding is, the revenue is not as high as, because you just started, so you have quite a bit of quite a bit of revenue, but it's not as high as you guys would be expecting. How, in terms of investment, how do you proceed when it comes to investment? Do we have to wait until we've made enough revenue before we come to you? Or we can come to you right now so that we can think about the potential, the market, and all of that? Assuming we have a lot of demand, but we do not have money to do the manufacturing and do the supply. I want to know how to go about that. Thank you.
Thank you. And for perspective, it's a health tech startup, manufacturing kits, and he's done a lot of investment, so just to keep in mind. Then yes, you have the floor now. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Imran Kwache, Vice Chairman of Accra Chamber of Commerce. That's under the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Accra branch. I've listened to you all, but my question is, are you really serious, ready to help SMEs in Ghana? Have you considered the culture dynamics of the country, the way people handle their businesses? If you haven't considered all this, then I will urge you to revise your books before you start approaching SMEs. Also, you need to understand the way things go in the system. Not today, right? And moving forward, are you considering the future of the business, or you are looking at the past of the business?
Can you help us in terms of the culture? Is there a specific issue you want to nail so that they can?
Yeah, because
yes,
when looking at our previous entrepreneurs, the Siams, the Tata Breweries, those big firms, most of them are not PhD holders. But look at what they were able to do, and the employment they created. That's where I was coming from.
Okay.
So, moving forward, the question is, are you looking at the future of businesses, how to help SMEs to grow their business, or looking at their past record? If you're looking at their past record, then you get everything wrong. And at the end of the day, you will not be able to support any business, trust me. Because people are going through challenges handling their business as of now. So moving forward, you need to come with innovative, thinking outside the box. We shouldn't go by the checklist alone. If so, then Proparco will fail.
Thank you very much. I think the point is very, very well made. And there's a waving hand at the back. I don't want to dodge questions. You want to answer that one? Okay, I'll bring the mic to you very soon. So I'll take the last two so we don't dodge any question. I want to pin them to the questions. So I'll take the last two and then we'll come back to you so we can be. We are racing against time right now, yes.
So I'm a technology entrepreneur.
Okay.
So I ran a fintech before in the past, and I raised $200,000 for it. I spoke to about 100 investors in Ghana. None of them gave me funding. Then I spoke to about
100 individual investors or funds?
Individuals.
Kindly speak into the mic, right?
Both individuals and funds.
Okay.
And then I spoke to about 5 investors outside,
Yes.
about 3 from the US and then 2 from China. And then within 2 weeks, I raised $200,000. At that point, they were interested in the revenue. They were interested in the traction. How many users do you have? What's the product you've built so far? And what's the potential of the business?
Yeah.
And I clearly understood that there's a huge mismatch. The investors in Ghana, they are not venture capitalists. They are traditional investors. They are calling themselves venture capitalists. We are not. Then, when I exited that fintech, I started another business. It's called Starbucks. And actually, I think I remember pitching to you.
To me, eh?
Yes, to you.
Okay.
And then, in fact, when I sent the pitch deck, then we started a discussion. You ignored my other messages.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Because I'm sure. Because I'm sure the numbers were not impressive to you at the time. But that business, I exited it 3 months ago, $1.2 million.
Wow.
That is, there's a clear mismatch. So you have to go back to your books, revise your strategies. You're not investing in startups. You're investing in traditional businesses, the Casapreco, the big farms.
Thank you very much. Okay, so there was a last one at the back, yes, and then we can come back to all of these questions together. It's getting very hot in the kitchen.
Hello.
I need redemption. Okay.
Thank you. My name is Isaac.
Can you speak in the mic, please?
Yes. My name is Isaac. I'm co-founder of AI Scarecrow Technology.
Right, AI Scarecrow, okay.
It's an agri-tech startup
Yes.
focused on crop protection.
Yes.
Cereal crop protection. So my question is, my startup, for instance, was able to receive grants and to help us to begin.
Yes.
Yes, we are making some revenue, but we are not in profit.
Okay.
So my question has to do with the mere fact that we're able to receive grants from very credible sources.
Yes.
Doesn't that put us in a better position, or in a position in your eyes to receive further funding or
Thank you, Isaac.
investment? That's all.
Thank you. After the last question that came, I thought Isaac would tell them that I have given you pre-investment TA grant as well. I'm supporting you for free, helping you grow and all of that, just to quench a bit of the heat from that side. So it balances out, right? I need that. So, guys, please help me out. Francis, there was one question to you. You can take that and then we can now share the rest.
That question definitely made me sweat. So the question had to do with, no revenue.
Yes.
I'll be very frank. Since
If you can take the mic a bit closer.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Since I have been at IMP for about three and a half years now, I haven't received a business plan where the business doesn't generate revenue at all, right? However, and I think there are similar questions about maybe the revenue is not sufficient enough yet. So thankfully, there are some kind of funding instruments that can be used. So a typical example is what we call a convertible loan. So what happens with that is that initially we give the business a loan. You don't necessarily pay the interest monthly like a bank. However, that interest is sort of accrued. And then the business, and the money can convert into equity at a later date if, you can hit certain benchmarks that we've both agreed that you want to hit. So it's possible that come a year and a half or 2 years after, you haven't hit those benchmarks. But, we do have an agreement that this is the kind of valuation if you had hit this benchmark. And then, we have to go around that. And again, as IMP, I will confess, I mean, we're not pure VC, pre-seed, Silicon Valley series A, B, C, D, E, F kind of business. Yeah. Even though, I mean, we've recently in Ghana, for instance, we made an investment in ZPay, which is, you know, a fintech mobile money service. So for us, we learn along the way. And also we try to leverage our experience, because we have offices in different African countries. I mean, I have a colleague in Senegal who looked at a fintech, who can also assist us in our review of that business. So I don't know if I've answered the lady's question.
Yeah, I think you've answered the pre-seed. You don't really do, but you are learning along the way.
Yes, we are learning.
But if there's room to do convertibles, you could go in and do that.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, so the other question that just came, anybody can pick that. So the culture dynamics, profile of entrepreneurs, whether it's the high-end Harvard, Oxford entrepreneurs you want to see, or the typical
let me attempt to just
yeah, I wanted to just put a few of them together so we don't forget them. So somebody made a lot of investments but not making any money yet. How do we support that kind of entrepreneur? A lot of investments done in the millions, but not much revenues to match what you may be looking for in terms of traction. And then the very strong question again on whether we really aim to support startups. How can we raise funds in Silicon Valley but not in Ghana? I think that's something I may actually answer that subsequently. So yes.
Okay. All right. So before I answer, I wanted to just give some small color to my sister's earlier question. You see, for the most part, we realize that when we are doing valuations, businesses present to us their financials. Financials probably might be showing that you are profitable at, say, $200,000 or, say, 100,000 cedis. But indeed and in fact, you probably are making profits of about 500,000 and you're not declaring everything. See, sometimes businesses have this notion that if we put all the revenues in our financials, we'll pay more taxes. So you have an account you present to us. That account says your revenue is 200,000, but in reality, you are making 1 million cedis. What happens is that when it comes to valuation, you lose. Because we are going to look at the financials and what your revenue and your profit is, and probably do a multiple of the profit, okay, to do the valuation. What we must understand is that if you had put in everything and had declared a profit of $1 million, you still could have taken dividends out to fund the lifestyle, the things that you want to do. So let's get that also very clear, where sometimes we shortchange ourselves by not disclosing all the things that we do in our financials. And then when it comes to the time when you are seeking an equity funding, you say, no, let's add all of this. I had this. It becomes a problem. So it's important that you have that in mind. The other thing I want to comment on is the issue of startups. So how do we define startups, for example? In my company, so we have a fund that is a 10-year life fund. The first 5 years you are investing, typically. And in the last 5 years you are harvesting, typically. So if I want to invest in a startup, I would want to make that investment in the first 2 years, because startups take longer to mature. So if, for example, I'm in my 4th or 5th year, I may not be able to invest in a startup when you come to me. It does not mean that I don't do startups. The timing is important. Again, it is also important for us to understand that when, for example, you are a gynecologist working in a hospital, you have worked for 20 years of experience, and you are starting your new business, you want to set up a hospital, you are not necessarily a startup, because you are coming with some critical experience and some ability to grow your market and all of that. So even though you might be startup, we will still back you, because it's not like green. Yeah. So all those things are important. And again, you must understand when you approach a fund, the timing of your approach and all of that will determine whether or not they'll be able to invest in you if we're a startup, because we are not permanent investors. We invest over a period of 4, 5, 6, 7 years. We are out. So those things are important for us to consider. For example, we invested
If you don't mind, do you want to address the health one? I have a few minutes to wrap up, about 3 minutes to wrap up this conversation.
The health?
Who said a lot of investment, but yet to generate a lot of revenues to match your traction story. I don't know whether you or Trish or anybody
Maybe Trish will answer that. But then somebody else was talking about they have invested in assets. They have huge assets.
That's what I was about,
yeah, okay. So valuation is not just EBITDA based. Sometimes we can do asset based depending on the kind of business and the timing and all of that. Sometimes we even do a combination. All right. So we can look at your investment and use that to value the business, and not always using the revenue based approach.
Okay. Please do that for him for me. Yeah. Thank you. Is there any other? Possibly there's a question on the why do you raise the funds outside, but you can't do that here. So there is the stages of market maturity, and that's one thing that really defines how much is flowing into the market. So if, for example, I go into a Silicon Valley where almost every accelerator available is able to do about 150K USD in May, it becomes very easy in such a place where we typically say there is money chasing ideas. In this market, at this stage of our market maturity, there are more ideas chasing little money. So these dynamics would always happen until we get to the stage where some of these markets are now, and then you could actually raise more funding for the kind of ideas that we're looking at. But currently, at the stage of our market maturity, it becomes quite difficult to really get almost every idea, no matter how good it is, to be funded. Because these funds are also, to be fair, waiting to report on their yields and their returns to other investors who may have their own dynamics to be looking out for. So you go to other people, there are lots of family offices who have lots of funds, there are a lot of grant awarding agencies, and all of these things come into play to determine where you can readily raise funding from at any point in time. Currently, even for fintechs, there are more funds going to Nigeria than Ghana because the market is much bigger in that place. I want to believe this is to tell me, okay, to wrap up. I'll be wrapping up. But before I wrap up, Isaac from Wangara, you're a VC fund. I would give you a last word to really tell us what do you look at, how do we engage you, what do you look out for, and any advice for any particular business that may want to engage you as a green sector VC fund.
Yes. Before I answer that question, I would like to touch on one of the comments from the audience about the past. Investment firms looking at the past, but in other words, we shouldn't be doing that. What I will say is that the past is actually as equally important as the future, right? Because the future is so uncertain. About 2 years ago, no one knew COVID would happen. So if you engage an entrepreneur 2 years ago, and the entrepreneur is, well, typically they are always ambitious. Projections are always high. And 2 years down the line, there's COVID. It affects the entrepreneur, it affects the investor as well, right? So, I mean, we agree with you and we hear what you're saying, but what we are also trying to say is that make sure the past is also clean. Put things together, have your financials, if possible, audited, and then we can go ahead from there. And now to what we will look at, one of the key things will be to have your business plan intact. And what I would say is not to have the business plan done by somebody and then it will be a desk document that you present. Because for a VC firm like ourselves, when you present your business plan, we are going into details into what you have written, how you as an entrepreneur, you understand the things that are put in there. What market are you trying to address? What problem are you trying to solve? And how are you solving that problem? We need to see that kind of detail from you as well when we speak with you, and not just what you have in the business plan. And then also one key thing will be to have your financials in place, your projected financials, right? Because that will inform what we want to look at when we do commercial due diligence, when we speak with your customers, when we speak with your suppliers, and how the whole thing ties into your projected financials. So I think these are some of the few things that we would look at when we engage. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll give the last word to Ange Pascal of Proparco.
Good morning. Yes, once again, I'm Angie Pascal Kwasi. I'm Proparco country representative. Just to give a few words regarding the past and how Proparco can support any type of companies. You know, we think that it's very important to support startups, SMEs, and large companies. When it comes to large companies, Proparco is able to fund them directly. So we don't have any issue about that. But when it comes to startups and SMEs, we think that it's important to work with partners, private equity funds, VC capital. And when it comes to VC, for instance, we have this new fund called Digital Africa that target digital companies that can leverage on technology to tackle social issues. And for this type of companies, Proparco can invest about 200,000 euros. So that means Proparco has a real strategy to support any type of companies, startups, SMEs, and large companies. That is my last word. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ange Pascal. So that means if you have a digital startup, check out Digital Africa, and you could get that kind of funding if you are eligible. I would like to say a big thank you to Benjamin, to Trish, to Francis, Joseph, and Isaac for sharing your insights on what we want to do. The conversations will still be ongoing in the next room once we're done. But at this stage, we're going to take a comfort break of 10 minutes just to stretch our legs. Also, there'll be some videos playing in the background from our partners, GIPC, Proparco. Enjoy these videos, take a stretch, and then we come back to watch Globe Productions showing another play for those of us who want to engage banks for loans. That's the second side of it, so let's keep that in mind. So can we give a clap for this panel? They've been amazing. Please chase them when you're done with more questions, and they would answer you all. So just comfort break, restroom break. You want to stretch your legs for 10 minutes, and then we come back to watch the next drama whilst they set up the stage. So we wouldn't wait when we come back again. Enjoy the videos as well. Thank you very much. See you in 10 minutes.
Into manufacturing of ceramic tiles and other ceramic products, such as Central Wales. Kerda was registered in the
Golden Coast Developers is an international and national-based real estate development firm with multi-sector involvement in technology and procurement. I would say we're predominantly a new entrant into the market, but in terms of the growth prospects, we're doing medium-scale projects throughout Ghana currently. I was predominantly in America for about 12 years, working on Wall Street. I was at the top of, I'd say, the financial sector when it came to my work arrangements. But what really called me about the African story was I wanted to be a part of the new growth prospects. I wanted to be a part of the ground build out for all things that were going forward in Ghana and Africa at large. So I decided to come back in 2017, and initially we kicked off our real estate portfolio, but we've gotten ourselves into a few other things as well. And there's nothing more real than real estate. So that was what drove me to step in the arena. We really came in looking to do the home automation, the smart features, and that was something that was not traditional. We've infused technology in our overall platform. So our goal was to ensure that when you live in a house, you have more than just the walls around you. You can experience the home, you have sensory, you come home, the mood is set. All of those characteristics are very acclimated to the new modern way of thinking. We're not only doing residential, we're not only looking at luxury, we're branching out into overall redevelopment schemes. We're talking about markets. We're looking to build out large-scale shopping complexes that would really give broader opportunities to people in Ghana and then Africa at large over time. In our portfolio, we have direct staff, about 35, and hundreds of people working for us on our various site projects currently. And I think it's very important that you create these opportunities and you manifest your dreams, your life in other people's goals as well. All of our previous investors, buyers have been very, very happy with the output that we've been putting out there. And I've seen over a very short period of time, the 3 to 4 years we've been in operation, constant engagement with the folks that we're currently affiliated with. And our project portfolio has grown because of this. For the GIPC registration and the overall involvement with GIPC, it's really just getting us woven into the fiber of the business community and looking at it as a framework to leverage not just incentives and different initiatives that come down the pipe, but also to be knit into the family and the network, as well as the databases that GIPC has. It's a wealth of information. And all of that, the key to operating in Ghana and Africa at large is being able to access information. I would say the best decision that diasporans can make is to really follow their calling. And if something has woken them up to the opportunities that exist in Ghana, on the continent, they should really look at it, plan it out, sequence it, but definitely engage themselves in that. There's nothing that I think would drive me to go back and work in the corporate structure and look at how the world is positioned today, when I can actually build that for myself in Africa. And Ghana itself has given a wealth of opportunity to set up businesses, to register and have people associated with you that are as driven as you are. And I think everything a diasporan will be looking for creature conveniences, over time will be here. So why don't you come and be a solution rather than looking at the problems that don't exist or do exist? Being a diasporan myself and having been in Ghana for only a number of years, it's the best decision that I ever made for myself. I'll never look back and say I didn't take a risk, but that risk has paid off, and I'm very, very happy about that. Alexa, turn on lights.
Okay.
Alexa, turn on TV.
Okay.
Alexa, open the blinds.
Okay.
Golden Coast Developers is an example of a business thriving in Ghana. It hasn't been easy, but we've really found our footing, and we're doing this for ourselves. So I call on all diasporans to grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana.
HPW Fresh and Dry is an agro-processing company that specializes in dried fruits and snacks. Our main crops are mango, pineapples, coconuts, banana, and papaya. We basically convert these fresh fruits into delicious dried fruits for the world market. We started in 2011 with 15 factory employees. Now we have 900 factory employees at peak. The general workforce of the company, including farm workers, agronomists, technical workforce, stands at 1,400 across our 2 factories now. The growth of our business has been exponential. The principals have invested quite heavily in the business. Comparatively, from 2011 inception, where we exported 49 tons, in 2019 we exported over 1,900 metric tons of dried fruits. So basically, when we talk about 1,900 metric tons of dried fruit, we are talking about over 25,000 tons of fresh fruits processed here annually. HBW Fresh and Dry is a daughter company of HBW AG that has been trading in Ghana since 1999 in fresh fruit. HBW AG is basically a trading company that imports exotic fruits and vegetables around the world into Europe. The idea of establishing a factory in Ghana came from the principal's belief in the premium Ghanaian fruit and the intention to add value at source. Europe has the largest market share for our products. We also sell in North America, basically in the US and in Canada. We sell in the Middle East. We sell in the Oceania regions of New Zealand and Australia. We sell premium dried fruits from Ghana as far as Krasnoyarsk in Russia. We buy from over 1,600 suppliers, both here in Ghana, in the Ivory Coast, in Burkina Faso, in Mali, and in Togo. For the community, we generate very important jobs. For the community, we have a lot of projects going on in the community. We are also the biggest employer in the district. We have a lot of projects under the certifications that we subscribe to, like Fair Trade and DEG. Our biggest selling proposition is our strength from our mother company in Europe that markets all our products. We have offices in Switzerland, in Lithuania, and in Philadelphia for the various market sectors that we have, or segments that we have. We pride ourselves mainly by processing with almost zero carbon footprint. As we work with fruits, the waste from the soft waste from our raw material sources, that is the mango peels and pineapple peels and mango seeds and core and whatever waste that comes out, is used in our biogas system and also as compost for our organic farms. Coconut shells are very well repurposed as a burning fuel for our biomass boilers, which we use to generate heat energy for our dryers. 30% of our electrical needs is covered from solar panels that we have on the roof.
Ghana Rubber Estate is processing rubber, natural rubber, for the tires manufacturer all over the world. Ghana Rubber Estate is a Ghanaian company, owned at a bit more than 60% now by Société Internationale des Plantations DVA, based in France, and the government of Ghana has more or less 28% of the shares today, and the private Ghanaian investor has the rest of the share. Today we have a bit more of 21,000 hectares of estates. Then we also developed some rubber outgrower projects between 1995 and 2016, and then we planted almost 45,000 hectares. So today we have a big reservoir of rubber, natural rubber, coming from the trees, as you can see behind me. Okay, so the people tap, we collect the material and we process in our factories. We have 2 factories, okay, and we export everywhere in the world, basically for the major tires manufacturers as Michelin, as Bridgestone and other ones. Just to give you a figure, we were doing 15,000 tons of rubber, processed rubber, to export. Today, this year, we will do more than 80,000 tons of natural rubber to export. So you can see the growth, the huge growth we had. We expanded 3 times the existing factory when we bought the plantation, and then we built a new factory 2 years ago.
Keda is into manufacturing of ceramic tiles and other ceramic products, such as sanitary wells. Keda was registered in the year of 2015, and KEDA commissioned its first phase in the year of 2017. This year in September, KEDA commissioned its third phase, and probably by next year in June, KEDA is going to commission its fourth phase. KEDA is still expanding, and KEDA is going to make the Ghana the industrial hub for the whole West Africa, probably the Africa as a continent. KEDA, since its establishment in the Lower Inchaban Shama district, has created more than 2,000 jobs. As for the indirect employment, there are about 5,000. Majority of the workers are from the local communities. And also KEDA have the people from the northern region and the mine area where they supply KEDA the raw materials. Ghana used to import 100% of the ceramic tiles from other countries, and now the importation has been reduced to about 10 to 15%. That means more than 85% of ceramic tiles are manufactured locally, and also we.
National company is a manufacturer of mattress, pillows, and some of the other furniture. We are also manufacture the baby diapers. Our mattress is the tatami mattress. Most of the raw material is from Ghana. Like the nature grass and the foam. By now we have employee 86 Ghanaian. In the future we are planning to employ over 200 Ghanaians. They are the factory workers, some of the driver, some of the office. Yeah, different position. We distribute our product to Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi, Tamale, Cape Coast, Wa, and the other areas. I've been in Ghana almost 20 years. I like Ghana. Is a peaceful country. It have good worker. Good weather, stable economy. Ghana is a good country for the business. It have the population is more than 30 million. It have the harbor. It have the port. Is a member of the ECOWAS. It can export the product to the other West African country. Your investment is safe in Ghana. GIPC, when we import the machine, we can get the zero rate duty and zero rate VAT. And also the GIPC, the officer, they are good for us. They are friendly. When we have something inquired, they always friendly to us to try to help us. We want when they are mission out the brand, we want they can think is the good quality and good price. I encourage investors to come to Ghana. Let's grow in Ghana and grow with Ghana. National company is a manufacturer of mattress, pillows, and some of the other furniture. We are also manufacture the baby diapers. Our mattress is the tatami mattress. Most of the raw material is from Ghana. Like the nature grass and the foam. By now we have employee 86 Ghanaian. In the future we are planning to employ over 200 Ghanaians. They are the factory workers, some of the driver, some of the office. Yeah, you know, different position. We distribute our products to Kumasi, Accra, Takoradi, Tamale, Cape Coast, Wa, and the other areas. I've been in Ghana almost 20 years. I like Ghana. Is a peaceful country. It have good worker. Good weather, stable economy. Ghana is a good country for the business. It have the population is the more than 30 million. It have the harbor. It have the port. Is a member of the ECOWAS. It can export the product to the other West Africa.
Plantations of FNAF Ghana Limited is into plantations development, specifically the development of oil palm and rubber plantations and the processing of the palm fruits into palm oil, and subsequently it will also be processing the raw rubber into crumb rubber for export. Plantations of FNAF Ghana Limited started its operations in Ghana in January 2013. And so far we have planted 6,000 hectares of oil palm and then about 1,000 hectares of rubber. We have already established the oil mill. We commissioned the mill about 2 years ago. We are yet to establish a plant for the rubber. Originally, the plans of the company was to develop minimum 6,000 hectares of oil palm, 6,000 hectares of rubber. We have achieved the objective of the oil palm. For the rubber, we are constrained by environmental problems to the extent that we do not think we would be able to expand the rubber plantation anymore. Plantations of FNAF has completed its developmental cycle. Plantations of FNAF Ghana Limited, as we speak right now, employs some 2,200 Ghanaians. Most of whom come around within the surrounding communities. Now Daboase is thriving because there is purchasing power in the system. We are infusing about 1.5 million into this small community every month. And as a result, businesses are booming everywhere around. At the fiscal level, pay as you earn, that is payroll taxes and withholding taxes from the goods buy and the people.
Your investment is safe in Ghana. GIPC
That has contributed a lot of taxes, including VAT, PAYE, and withholding taxes together with other taxes. The mother company of Keda, which is in China, is their manufacturer of ceramic tiles production line. It ranks number 2 in the world in terms of its business. The production line and equipment we used is normally 20 to 30% higher than the other factories, and it also environment friendly. For the